Yo, this is your boy Terran the Black. This is a TDB show, and it's a review over Ironheart Season 1, which I hope is the only season of this show. Um, my initial reaction, bad show. Overall, just a horrible show. I'm not going to front with y'all. Um, there is some, with bad shows, there's always a glimmer of good in it, but overall, this is a horrible show. Um, the the premise could have worked. The oh man, it's so much to get. The writing and the pace in the show was so it felt disjointed. Overall, let me tell you. Let's just tell you the premise. Basically, it goes with the story of Riri Williams. She was in Wakanda Forever. MIT student who created her own Iron Man suit. Her I don't know what they call it. I guess this is an Iron Man suit, but and if it starts from there, like it starts from her having issues at MIT because she's trying to basically doing too much. She over here selling of doing people homework and selling it to them or whatever. I think that's what it was. She ended up doing a lot of like unscrupulous things because like she trying to get so much money so she could actually finish her project on creating like a lot of Iron Man suits and stuff or whatever. And it never this show never feels like a hero, like you seeing the hero's journey. It always felt somewhat off. And overall, look, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna talk about some spoilers here, man, because I really, the grand scheme of things, I do not recommend. If you was thinking about watching this show with your daughter, to be like, hey, we could bump like father daughter time, or if you're in the comic books and you wanted to show like a female lead in a comic book show, this ain't the one. It's disjointed. It's bad ethics by the main character. She does not display any of the type of heroic tropes that you'll want your daughters to like emulate or whatever. She's very flawed, like extremely flawed, egotistical. It's not like okay, egotistical in a way where okay, eventually her good nature. She doesn't show any redeemable traits. Like she doesn't. Yeah, people gonna disagree with me on this. Like her, even her love for her family was more on a selfish tip. It wasn't like I want to see the best out of her family. I want them to become the best. Or her friend group. It was more of like a possession type of bond. She don't want her toys to be messed with type thing. That's the vibe I get. Now y'all could probably disagree with that if y'all like, but that's the vibe I get. Like with everything with eh, I'll tell you like this. Like she literally made her best friend her AI. Like you know how like Iron Man has Jarvis, and Jarvis kind of give him a rundown on a lot of stuff like when he's in mission or whatnot. Her friend Natalie, she made the AI, and she kind of does a lot of the logistical work and like, hey, this going on. Hey, watch out for this type stuff, like what Jarvis was doing. And honestly, got true. Her friend, I actually like her friends. The actress actually was a pretty good. She's a highlight. And one the secret, the behind the scenes enemy was pretty. That was a good. That was pretty good, and I think they did him justice on his introduction to MCU. At first I said it on one of the live streams. I want to say the last nerdish stream I did last week that I didn't like the fact they bring in this character in this show because it was so bad. The first 3 episodes was so horrible. I have to change a little bit. He was actually the highlight of these last 2 episodes, especially. Oh no, last episode. He was the last two or last episode. Yeah, last episode. Everything blending together. I apologize. Um, Another highlight I would give. They was pretty creative on how they did their introductions. So it was more. It was a lot of cold opens. Then they'll mix in Ironheart, the logo somewhere in a creative spot. That was actually pretty dope. I like that. Whoever thought that should be more part of opening for Marvel to keep something like that. That's actually pretty cool. Um, okay. The acting overall from the so a little bit about more about the story. Ironheart ended up leaving MIT, and she basically just looted the I ain't gonna say stole. She looted the suit she was making, and she flew all the way back to Chicago from MIT, and then after that, she ends up have to recreating the AI that because she created the AI initially for that suit. Oh, and of course, it's a ecologically safe suit. So here's the thing. This the problem I have with the suit. Initially, Tony Stark, the suit was not necessarily the what's the saying? This wasn't necessarily the gem of Tony Hawk. Well, I better say Tony Hawk. Tony Stark. Um, that the suit wasn't his biggest creation. It was the arc reactor. So instead of having arc reactor, because the arc reactor pretty much ran all his suits, and it was basically his heart. So that what made him special. He had pretty much a nuclear reactor in his chest. That was kind of remarkable. He didn't get like radiation poison and whatnot. So with this suit, it's solar and wind powered, which scientifically this makes no sense. But hey, this a comic book show, and it sounds good to have wind and solar being the primary energy source of something, which that's propaganda. I'm gonna be 100 with you because it's solar. It's impossible to have that much energy just from wind and solar. It doesn't even work in real life like that. It doesn't work. I mean, just you cannot generate that much energy. But that's beside the point. We could talk about this all day. But like, I have a problem with that. But like, back to the story. He she I say she ended up going back to Chicago, and then she had to recreate the whole suit, make an AI, change the color of the suit and everything, which technically I'm surprised, and this was what takes me away from the show. If a student they found out a student stole an Iron Man suit out of a prototypes in the comics. If y'all don't know, MIT, all the colleges would have had like a shield personnel there at the scene, and they would have kind of be like, somebody's about to take off with a prototype we made for shield agents. Which that would if that prototype would have worked, that would have been mostly for shield. A lot of shield agents would have had that that suit or whatever. if it was based in the comic book. Because Stark gave a lot of stuff to Shield, like Howard Stark. Now I don't want Tony Stark. That's give and take, but Howard Stark definitely gave a lot to Shield. And a lot of people gave a like AIM. All of them gave a lot, which is ironic. Not AIM. Oh man, I just went blank on them. Yeah, AIM used the person. They gave they a lot of the weapons trade. It was going through Shield and going to Hydra and everything. It's a whole story with all that in the comics. But like ain't no way she would have made it already from MIT to Chicago without have. That's probably would have made the show better. They should have implemented some of the Shield and Hydra stuff in this. Looking for the had them looking for it. Then having her being with the Hood's gang, which is the Hood wasn't really bad to me. Like the dude who played the Hood, he. It was just that his gang was just irritating as hell. Like Hood himself was actually pretty cool, but the gang was just I want I wanted to fast forward, but like you can't. That's most of the show is her with the gang, and they dialogue. And man, I'm telling you, it was some of the worst piece of shit. Ugh, it's irritating. That man, that's where the show fails. It's because like you race change, you sexual orientation change, you did all this stuff, gender swap everybody in that game damn near, and it just doesn't work. It just it was bad. I mean, it made me feel like this. Exactly like that. I'm like, get these people off the screen. That's where this show fails at. Like, even and then like later on, like I'm gonna skip a. They go on a heist, and she basically led somebody. She got discovered by one of the Hood's like right hand, the Hood's right hand man, and he, of course, they had a fight. It was the most unchoreographed piece of shit of a fight ever. Not like it's just bad. Like she's unathletic. He was just dumb as hell when fighting her. It was just bad. It was a disjointed mess, and she in this was a time where she could have showed like, hey, she has some type of redeeming a redeeming trait. She basically let him die in after all that, because like basically they were fighting, and the compound that was in had a fail safe that okay, if you if some contaminant gets into, it was basically a greenhouse. So if contaminant get into a greenhouse, they'll shut down and they'll pretty much suffocate the contaminant by deriving it from air. It was like a mushroom plant or something like that. It was a farm or whatever. It was one of those type of spots. So basically, like they were fighting to get out of the spot. So her Iron Man suit came and saved the day. She left and left dude trapped to suffocate. Which, if you know any hero, would have probably this is how it usually would have went down. She would have tried something, even if it doesn't make sense, to get old dude out, and then that dude would have to like carry that secret, and then the story would have kind of built up on the story and the tension of the game and everything like that. They went the opposite route and let her leave and let him die in that situation. The problem with that is that now You don't confuse the audience. You don't confuse normies. You don't confuse comic book fans that understand the material. You confuse everybody. Like, hold on, is this person supposed to be a hero, or is she supposed to be what? Is this a villain? A villain story? So and that type of stuff is why this show is fed. That's part of the reason why this show is fed. And that part, the inner workings of the Hood's game is the two main things that destroyed this show. And number three is, okay, they seek to justify it. Like the AI, Natalie, she justified it in, I want to say, episode 4, talking about, hey, don't beat yourself up for a self defense situation. Yeah, that makes sense. Like on one part, like it was a self defense scenario. However, if you're supposed to be heroic, yeah, you defend yourself, but hey, you don't let people go out and die unless you're in a situation where you are trying to save. You're like in a Captain America situation where you trying to save somebody, and then somebody dies in the process. It's kind of that's one of them unfortunate situations. But your whole intent was to save this person, not save yourself. She was saving herself. That's a classic villain move. You know what I mean? So now you confuse the audience, right? So what ends up happening, um, the Hood is distraught because his right hand man, he been like making moves with him all along. It, the the question it's questionable about how their friendship was, because like of course it's Disney, so they kind of left that kind of they kind of left that vague what that situation was. I ain't gonna get in detail, but he was distraught. I mean that was like his best friend and everything like that, right? But they really, it was some innuendo. They played with that, but eventually he figured something shows him what happened to his friend, which we're gonna find out later on in episode 5 and 6. We'll find out who showed him that or whatever. So that was episode 3. That kind of put everything in perspective. From Oh yeah, another part of episode 3 was I gotta rerun go back. So one of Iron Man's, excuse me, I gotta drink something real quick. C4 for energy. All right, one Iron Man initial villains. I want to say back in Iron Man 1 exactly. Ezekiel. Let's see. Um, Ezekiel Stane's dead was one of the Iron. That was Iron Man 1's big enemy. He was like Tony Stark's mentor, and he kind of wanted to control the whole Iron Man suit situation. He wanted to like control it for himself or whatever. So that was the villain in Iron Man 1. So his son is in this show. She went and looked up. Okay, yeah. She ended up looking up this dude named Joe that was really good in robotics and everything like that. Kind of find out Joe is Staines. What was I forgot the dude's name. Open Eye Staines son. And he talked about a little backstory, and they end up becoming cool and stuff. So she, with his help, she kind of developed, helped finish up with her suit and everything. I think that all happened in episode 2. So he he helped her for that heist. He helped her put in like a like one little a laser thing in her wrist. I mean, a little razor thing that will like help her to take off a piece of Hood's cloak, because she figured out that the Hood's cloak was magical or whatever, was made with some type of um element or whatnot. So when they did that heist, and the whole story I was telling you about, um, she leaving one of the characters to die. She stole a piece of the Hood's cloak using the little laser thing. But when everything went awry, she left the little laser thing, Ezekiel made for her. So that ended up implicating Zeke for that heist and what happened in the heist. So with that being said, like he in episode 4, you found out he ends up getting locked up by the feds and everything, by the because he was a part of that heist. They were looking for Organized Stane's son for the longest. So he had a whole bunch of stuff on him. He wasn't a good dude apparently. So he ended up getting soaked up by the feds, in law enforcement and whatnot. Soaked up and locked up by the feds for people who not don't understand that. So with that being said, like episode four and 5, I'll have the Hood figures out a plan to get back at Riri for killing his friend. Got back, told the crew, like they all start planning on attacking Riri. So that's where all that took. It was a lot of planning, and like he act. It was a slow burn. So in episode 4, he was still acting cool. The Hood was still acting cool with Riri, trying to figure out like where taking the temperature on how she was seeing things or whatnot. So he figures out, of course, and they she quits. She started feeling real guilty. Started feeling, and as part of the Hood's cloak, it's kind of making her feel like something was going, like make her feel extra paranoid. So you saw a little bit of that was all right. Man, matter of fact, like mid-season, episode 5 and 6, and 3, 5, and 6 might be the best rated, which is not rated really good. It's under 6%. You see this right now. So you had some good dynamics with that. I give it some good pointers on that. The problem was with those scenes is a lot of times Riri and her mama had some weird dialogue. It didn't work. It didn't really work there. And it was a lot of hey, tell me what's going wrong, Riri. Hey, tell me what's going wrong, Riri. Hey, can you? What's happening? Why are you coming back so late? Like that, it doesn't fit. Come on, no mama's gonna act like that. So I mean, yeah, it's gonna be a point where your mom is gonna say, all right, I don't know what's going on here, but you gotta take this outside my house. It's gonna be one of those moments, or it's gonna be a moment like, what the hell? Oh man. So lot of stuff going on. So that the it, so eventually she goes with her mom. They she's like, yeah, I kind of she had them wear her all her friends wear like these little wrist things to protect. It was like if anything happened, she make a force field and protect them. So eventually, like her mama was watching some kind of crime show or whatever, and the TV had some gunshots come out of it, right? Like the sound. So the force field opened up around her mom and everything. So that kind of forced her mama like, hey, I need to know what's really going on. And then like she kind of had to put her mama somewhat in the loop, not all the way in, because that wouldn't be a good story if you go all the way in, but some part of it of her in the loop. So she goes to go see somebody because she need to go figure out. She was trying to figure out what this piece of material was made out of. She tried everything to like figure out what it was made of through the little laboratory she had like hidden. One Ezekiel Stane's laboratories they had in the cornfield or whatnot. That so with that being said, she goes to one of her mama's friends, which this is another thing that bothers me. All her mama friends was like into crystals and witchcraft and stuff like that. They was like really into that spirituality thing, which I don't know. Maybe that's an up north thing or whatever. I don't know too many mamas that's into that. I mean, I'm in the south, so I don't know too many women that's gonna have a group like that around here. I mean, that didn't come off as believable. Maybe it's just a regional thing. I'm not. I hold it for that one. Hold out, my judgment for that. However, when she went over her, and this irritated me here. She went to the little candy store her mama friend ran, and come to find out, her daughter was like getting trained by the Doctor Strange. She knew like Doctor Strange and all them. She was at the place that where he got trained at. So of course she had an interdimensional workshop for magic and everything in the candy store. Actually, good editing there because like how they just went into the and then it opens up the multi-dimensional stuff, which I mean that Doomsday is gonna be all about. So I wonder what they're gonna do with that character later on. I tell you, when we get to the end, I'll tell you why I think I'm questioning what they're gonna do with. I don't even know what the girl name, the lady name that was run that was the Doctor Strange acolyte. But like she goes and explains what happened. Doctor Strange won with what's it? What's it? Doctor Strange won. Dumu what's it? Dumuganu? Yeah, Dumuganu, which is he is a big one of the big baddies in the Marvel universe in general. So he goes into she goes into detail about like trying to figure out where she does the little spells and stuff. She figured out that the cloak is made out of material from like the dark, like some of the darkest regions of like the multi-dimensional space or whatever, which is gonna be that's comic accurate. That's some Jack Kirby shit right there. Jim Starlin. By the way, RP to Jim Shooter. By the way, man, I'm gonna talk about that later on another video. So she figure out that it's extremely magical and it comes from a dark place, like real dark. So that kind of open up who's the real big baddie is. We get a little later on, and probably the highlight of the whole show. So it's a lot of stuff that really put it this way, like she gets Hood gets Ezekiel out of jail. He start formulating a plan to take out Riri because he told the whole crew that Riri is the reason why the right hand man died in the heist. So he get all the misfits or whatever you want to call them, the hood gang or whatever. He get them all activated or whatnot. Which, man, this crew, man, irritating hell. Oh, it's not true. The most likable of the crew might be Joker. Not Joker, but Clown. Let me see where. Yeah, Sonya Dennis might be the most likable chick of that crew. Okay, this is run. She was I don't know. It might not be her. Let's see. Yeah, that's a month. Okay. Anyway, we go back. But yeah, Sonya Dennis actually was all right in this. She was all right, but it just she was the only likable person out that group, other than the hood. Slug irritated the hell out of me, man. It's not necessarily. It's just the fact that they was kind of heavy handed with some of the stuff they were doing with Slug and stuff, which I get it. Whatever, that's what y'all want to do, but it just then Slugs, Jerry and Ross irritate the fuck out of me. But at least Clown was like likable. She was kind of likable. So all right. So basically, he activate them, getting them plan, and he ends up getting Ezekiel to do exactly what his father did with the so his open eyes. Let me see if I can find a thing with open eyes Stan. Uh, OB. Yeah, Ironmonger. So here I'll share this real quick. That's Ezekiel's dead, and I believe he did like a lot of oh yeah, Jeff Bridges played the hell out. Iron Man 1 is, if y'all ever go back and watch Iron Man 1, hey, great. It's a great movie. A lot of people look at it as probably the greatest Marvel movie. That sets everything up. You got so many, you know, so many callbacks to that movie. So basically, like I said, Open Eyes. He didn't have a suit in Iron Man 1. He had like prawns, and he had some prawns that did electricity and stuff. So he ended up getting the prawns malfunction inside him and ended up turning them to dust. Last time I checked, I ain't watched Iron Man 1 in years, but I remember it being, everybody still love it, so I need to give it another chance. Not another chance, but I need to watch it just for like context again. But yeah, he got out Zeke got his dad's technology, but then the hood hacked it. Well, like Slug hacked it, so the hood would have total control over him. So basically, after that, um, Riri, uh, Riri, kind of connect with one Natalie's brother Xavier, and what's I mean, they have been having. It was another side story about their little relationship because like she have a thing for her best friend's brother. Like they got like a bond, they got a friendship, but they kind of it's tension there. They kind of like each other, which is it's kind of refreshing in a Disney show to show some type of heterosexual like relationship type thing. Like you don't really see that in Disney like that anymore, compared to speaking to like the like years past. So they had that like he'll make mixtapes for her and everything like that. It was kind of all right. The only thing like they could have had them kids or something, man. Come on, man. Like so that goes more into Riri's arc in this show, right? So she eventually shows Natalie the AI to Xavier in scenes right before the whole big climactic events. And Xavier kind of had a pushback against it because like he looked at it as what any regular person would look at it as. It's pretty fucked up. Like you using AI to bring back my dead sister would be I have a little issue with that. So he kind of called her out on the shit, right? And what I like about this, what I do like, this another part I do like, is that Riri get called out a lot in this show. Every time she goes into one of her drop diatribes and trying to be woe as me, a lot of like one of the MIT professors or whatever called her out her shit. When she went to go visit Ezekiel when he got soaked up, he called her out on her shit, which why that was a wild. Why would you go up there if you? That didn't make sense to me. Why are you going to visit somebody who might could implicate you in something? That's weird. That didn't make sense to me. So, and she's being called out constantly, but like never take really account on her decisions. That's another clue on eventually what's going to happen to her. So he pushes away from her like, hey, this is messed up. You don't have no right to do this, blah blah blah, this and that. So she's distraught more. She's more more angry and everything like that. Eventually, she get ambushed by like the crew. Like she's at White Castle, which good product placement. Now I don't know if you want to be product placement in this show, White Castle, but good on you for getting that little paper, little paper from that. Hopefully you. So she in there, ends up getting ambushed by the crew. In part, the the fight scene between her and the blood siblings. First of all, I hate that. This is another reason why I hate that crew. That in comic books they call the Blood Brothers, and yeah, they read. It's comical how they are, but like they the Blood Brothers. Disney had Disney on that one, so we leave that at that. You know, they the blood siblings because, like, of course, one has to be some type, wants to be trans. So it is what it is. I'm not no disrespect to that community, but it's kind of pointless doing this. That's a whole nother story. So they end up fighting her and everything, and they were actually distracting her for what Clown was doing with and Clown was kind of switched over to all the whole crew been switched over except for Hood. All right, so they had this joint ass fight like most fights in this thing is. She ended up getting the better hand of them, of course, because she got plot armor. She not the good, in a without a suit, because I Am I missing? Oh yeah. After that scene with Xavier, Natalie took the suit and left. So Westcott was actually vulnerable. That's the reason why she didn't have her Iron Man suit at White Castle, because Natalie left and was trying to come with grips with being rejected by her brother, which is crazy. That in honest got truth in hindsight, that's her. That's Riri's conscious and Natalie reacting to it. It's not necessarily Natalie is a AI. Her conscious was actually reacting to it. That's why she pushed away, which is convoluted as hell. Like, there's no way you can explain that. But that's really how it looked like it was going on. So she up having a fight with the blood sisters and everything. Then the suit ended up coming back. Like, she ended up having a fight with Clown, and the suit ended up coming back. And then when she got back in the suit, that's when Ezekiel with his dad's technology inside him start attacking her, everything. Oh no. I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. It's too much going on in that, and I think that happened in episode 5. It's too much going on. What ended up happening, Slug ends up nah, this all right, the suit came back and she got in the suit, then Slug ended up using the magnet against her, and uh her I'm talking about Riri when in the suit. She ends up had to cut the magnet off and escaping, and Slug end up trying to run her over or whatever, trying to chase and run over, and she ended up making Slug crash. And of course, Slug gets out the car because nothing can happen to Slug, and runs out and was scared and all that stuff. That's that goes to when Ezekiel attacks her. So Ezekiel was the only thing that she couldn't foresee. So he ended up fucking her up, fuck up the suit, and saying like, "Hey, you need to get out of Chicago because I was sent here to kill you." Blah blah blah. Because like she beat him up pretty well too. So now she has no suit. She has to lay low and figure things out. And then Zeke end up. Oh, I'm missing a key point. After she beat Clown up, she told Clown about another. It was another person played by Eric Andre. She told him that Hood killed him, which she got recruited. So that set out a whole nother chain of events. Well, my Discord is blowing up. Chain events in five, where episode 6, where they all meet up back with Hood and was like, "Hey, we got ass kicked, blah blah blah." The clown had a Slug to go find information and autopsy for Eric Andre, and he ended up finding it. Then that's when like they confront the Hood about that, and this all happened in episode 6. So she the group leaves the Hood, and the only thing Hood had was Ezekiel, because he had Slug hack Ezekiel's operating system, like the thing that controlled his technology and his body and everything at that point. Because it's all, if you know about Donald Stan's on the MCU, how he had it set up, he had control of all the stuff, but like he had a program inside him too that helped him like enhance like reaction time or whatever, stuff like that. So Westcott hacked in and made sure that the hood, Parker Robbins, um, had full control. So you in episode 6, you go back. This is when you kind of find out where the hood got his hood from, and you come and find out this is when the twist happened. You find out that the hood came got his hood from hold on real quick. I got mute something. Let's see. Let me mute this for an hour. All right. Sorry about that. So you go find out the hood got his cloak from a mysterious person, which we don't find out till the last one of the last scenes. So he ends up showing he ends up going to his father's house, which we didn't know his father, and taking over the whole his whole thing. Now a little bit about Parker Robbins' father. If you're a comic head, you probably know this, but Arthur Robbins is pretty much in cahoots with Kingpin. So Arthur Robbins was Kingpin's right hand man. He was like the gold. He was like the business liaison for the Kingpin. Like he did he was like a concierge and stuff like that. So he was like the money man for the Kingpin. So a lot of business Arthur Robbins had was front groups for the Kingpin's business endeavors. So Parker ends up bringing him and Zeke to the mansion and end up just killing all the bodyguards or whatever, beating their ass or whatever, and did a gun to face hostile takeover of Arthur Robbins' situation. Then you kind of find why Parker went this route. So apparently, because Arthur Robbins he's a crime lord, and he got this whole type of different mentality. He was like, hey, he kicked him out at 12 because like the boy he was being too disruptive outside of the business. So of course, crime lords, he's like, hey, you gonna have to get on your own. And eventually, that's how Parker got connected with this mysterious dude, and making a whole crime syndicate himself. So that's how all that went down. And there's a lot of tension between the hood and Ezekiel Stane, because like Ezekiel Stane doesn't have any free will in this situation. He's doing everything because Whatchcott forcing him to do it. So fast forward, right? Everybody, Riri had to remake her a suit because it got destroyed by Ezekiel when Ezekiel ambushed her. So she laying low. She going to her mama been having like. So the little more backstory of Riri, her stepdad and her best friend got shot during the drive by, and they talk about this throughout the whole season. So her mom still had ownership, which is kind of crazy thinking about Chicago politics and everything, that somebody gonna have ownership and not have no business going through it. But that's another story. She had ownership of her stepdad's garage and stuff. So eventually, her mom takes her to her step, and she kind of had to go through the whole grieving process the right way with her stepdad and her best friend dying. Like she runs from every little issue she has. She always running from it and whatnot. So it was a good dialogue. So hey, you can't keep running from your issues. You got to kind of stand there and go head on to it. So she was kind of forced to doing that. And end up eventually she got a what's the old girl, the friend at the candy shop. I don't even know they even gave her a name. What was her Zelma? I think it's Zelma. Yeah, they Zelma had a she had to go and help her with the magic thing with the cape, the material from the cape. So she basically built a whole new suit. She had to use magic to power the suit because of course, wind and solar is not gonna cut it. And to confront the hood and everything. So eventually they went and she confronted the hood and Ezekiel Stane and stuff or whatever. And they had this fight and she ended up eventually beating the hood through using and one of the process of using the magic, she lost her AI friend out the equation. Natalie ended up getting soaked up by the magic. So she went, confronted the hood, beat him. Then she gets after she beats him, she beat him by taking away the hood, and oh, it's so convoluted. This show giving me a headache. I'm gonna have to give me a Advil Tylenol. This she ends up having a conversation with the mysterious figure, which was played by Sacha Baron Cohen. I'm gonna say he was the best actor in this whole goddamn show. Best actor hands down. So come to find out, he she thought he was that mythical villain Zelma was telling her about, and he laughs and everything. He's like, "Nah, my name is many things, but I like to call myself Mephisto." Now, if you're a comic book fan, you know Mephisto in the MCU, in the Marvel 616. That is the devil. Let me tell you. Matter of fact, I can show you more about Mephisto. So this is Mephisto. He's literally the devil of the Marvel universe. Sacha Baron Cohen plays him well. So eventually, yeah, he made a deal with Parker Robbins that when he gave him the hood way back in they will show that in season episode 6. So he gives Riri the same type of deal. Like he met her, the fight, all the fight and everything. The hood's hideout was a pizza spot. So after the fight, she's walking out, and Mephisto is there having a slice of pizza, which is ironic because nobody was there to make the pizza, but he had pizza nevertheless. That should have told her, "Hey, something's up with this motherfucker." But like, she, he over here is like, "Hey, come have a pizza," and like, at first she was having doubts about him because she heard about the evil magic and everything. So they talk, and she's like, "Hey, I could give you whatever you want." Cause she been really talking about, hey, how bad she want to be iconic. She don't want to be small. She don't want to be this, want to be that. She want to be bigger than Tony Stark and all of them combined. Blah 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 blah. All throughout the seasons, especially episode 1 and 2. So he reiterates a lot of that stuff, and she had flashbacks of her saying that. So eventually, he figures out like what she wants, and he said, "Hey, that could happen." So this is good editing here. What they did, they show her as in like look like a flashback or whatever, and she's in her iconic. She's in like working on her suit and working on magic and everything. Got her hair down. Like a lot of Riri in the comic books is her having her hair down in natural and stuff and everything. So they show her looking in that way. I admit she kind of look kind of hot there. I'm not gonna lie. I got thank for the afros and stuff. Look kind of hot there. But anyway, she was like doing working on stuff, and they were showing. Then they showed the fact that Natalie came back, and Natalie, and then he was talking. Then Natalie touched her. She's like, "How the hell you did that?" Because she was supposed to be AI. So it gives a twist that she pretty much sold her soul to Mephisto to bring back Natalie and have control of the magic and everything. So that's how the show ends. The show pretty much ends, and it does have a mid-credit scene. So I'm thinking they're gonna probably use the only way to reconcile this whole show. Literally, is to make Ironheart a bad guy and make her be a part of Doomsday, Iron Star, Doomsday, Doctor Doom, Tony Stark, you know, group. That's the only way to really make the show make sense. Overall, it's a horrible show, but that's the only way to make it make sense. But I have to give credit to Sacha Baron Cohen. This is probably that was a good performance from Mephisto. I think he needs to do more Mephisto stuff. They need to make him the big bad instead of they talking about bringing back Jonathan Major. No, look, shout out Jonathan Major, Duncan High alum. You know, he he grew up right around the corner from a couple ex girlfriends I had. I mean, I had no hey, much love to Jonathan Majors. He's a great actor. I just don't like Kane the Conqueror. I've been vocal about this numerous times, but I think Sacha Baron Cohen needs to be the big baddie of all this. If they make that work, they probably can salvage some of the MCU because right now this show is not a good representation of the MCU. Um, Time would tell if any of this will even matter later on because like they might be redoing everything. But like if they're gonna use Riri Williams, she got to be a bad guy. They can't fuck around and try to make her be good. She's not gonna have no. When she show up, we're not gonna be like, oh my god, there go Riri. We're gonna be like, oh my god, here comes Ironheart. What the fuck they gonna do with her now? That's how the response gonna be. So overall, I just told y'all literally everything in the show that's worth a damn. Um, watch if you're gonna watch it. I was just look at this as a villain story. You know, I would not waste time on this you unless they actually make her a villain. If they make her try to be a hero, this show it's not gonna it's not gonna be worth a damn. But that's about it. That's all I got. If I want to rate the show, 3 out of 10. Well, the highlights Sacha Baron Cohen and some of the editing. Some of Clown was cool. Natalie was cool. Everything else was kind of lackluster. But that's all I have on it. Like, share, and subscribe. Uh, check out my Nerdist live show I have on Wednesday nights. I will be going over maybe F1 tonight. I'm about to go after this video. I'm about to go prepare to go watch that. So y'all take care. Like, share, subscribe.